Good morning, good morning, good morning, Dr. Mike. Good morning, Reverend Carm. Good morning, Liz. Hey, my VUU sis. Good morning, Dr. Candace. Good morning, Reverend Liz. Reverend Antoinette. Reverend Dr. Sherry Brown Jackson. Good morning, Professor Natasha. I just feel like calling y'all handles this morning. Good morning, Roz, my sister. Good morning, Reverend Dana. Good morning, Margaretta, Reverend. Good morning, Reverend. Soon to be Dr. Leah. Good morning, Reverend Gail. Good morning. Hey, everybody. Hey, Barbara. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, newly minted Dr. Winter Laws. Good morning. Good morning to my YouTube family, Village Keepers over there on YouTube. Good morning, Dr. Miranda. Good morning to my soul healing practitioner, Tamil. Good morning, Pamela. Good morning, Shatiria. Am I saying your name right? And I am sorry if I'm not. But good morning. Please help me pronounce it correctly. I apologize because I like to say people's names correctly. Ashe, good morning, Dr. Rihanna, Dr. Reverend Dr. Byron. Good morning, Nicole, and good morning, Dr. Chelsea. You trying to find you a box to open, Chelsea? Send me your inbox. I'm sending you a box, period. Yep. Yeah. I'm sending you a box. Which for those of you, I've been really thinking, oh, ouch, I rubbed my eye too hard just now. Ouch. Oh, that hurt. I woke up with a headache hoping that it was not a migraine. My sugar was a little high this morning and I'm not quite sure why. But not like super, like not alarmed, but higher than it usually is when I check it. So that might explain my headache. And I don't usually get headaches. And the last migraine I had was when I was in crisis back in 2022. But I have my peppermint oil right now, and I'm just gonna move slow into it. At any rate, Dr. Chelsea said about wanting a box. I have been wanting to for a long time to curate some boxes. And when Dr. Irie and I, when we got to this part of our retreat planning, I was like, I want a box. I want a box. So shout out to Dr. Irie Session, who designed the box, who designed the beautiful images that you see. She designed that. And so shout out to her. And on the card, and I curated the box. And she did the t-shirt also, and all of the other things I've curated from Black business owners, which is really important to me, to support Black owned businesses. and just with some little touches. But my point is, I'm strongly it is on my heart. I have wanted to do a box, a quarterly box, which will be an additional subscription, but curated for toward a particular lens. And so I'm thinking about that. But if y'all would support that, let me know in the chat if you all would support a box subscription. It would be in addition to the PRC, to the clearing, which would be, though, a more discounted. So just something I'm thinking about, Yeah, I see everybody saying they want one. See, so yeah. At any rate, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Pastor Anika. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, my sis, Samiko. Good morning, Reverend. Good morning. Good morning, Reverend Takia. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, thank you so much. I so appreciate your presence, Takia. Good morning, Dr. Cynthia. Good morning. Good morning, Akila and Tracy. Good morning, Natasha. Good morning. Kim Vini, good morning. Good morning. Okay, everybody's saying yes. So, all right. Stay tuned then. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Good morning, Shawnee. Announcements. That's where I want to go. Good morning, Joel. Good morning. Buenos dias, Marilyn. Good morning. So for those of you, let's get into this week's announcements. We have some announcements. We do have some announcements. So this week in our announcements, for those of you who have been waiting, these people stay interrupting me. My goodness. Sorry, y'all. And how these little telemarketer people be getting through the do not disturb is very interesting to me. And on a Sunday at 8:28, have you no boundaries. At any rate, for those of you who'd been waiting to hear information on the Restoring Summer Institute, sponsored by the Faith Compass Initiative at the Wake Forest University School of Divinity, June 18th through the 20th, 2024. I know this is Institute conference season. I've seen some of you at various different conferences, and I love to see who attends conferences, who attends which conferences, like conferences. I just want to say, I got joy seeing all of you who attended the, what is it called? The IC3? Is that called, is I3 or IC3? I never heard of it. And I'm like, where have I been? Wow. Like I've also never been to the Hampton Ministers Conference. Of course, I've heard of that. I just never been. And it is interesting to me to see who goes to what, not in a click fashion, but just in sense of who where people believe their people are, right? And I said, oh, there goes some of my people there. I might have to check that out. But it also speaks to sort of how we can be in silos. If we're not careful, we can find ourselves in silos and, only move in certain circles. And while moving in certain circles can be healthy in a way to protect your peace, it also, at least it spoke to me like, girl, you need to move out a little bit, get out and move around. So here's one way of moving around right here, June 18th through the 20th. If one of our Digi Deacons, either Natasha, Carlene, or even Carmen, can go to the Faith Compass Center and find the registration link and put it in the timeline chat on Facebook and on YouTube, I would be appreciative, because guess what, y'all? This Summer Institute is 100% free. F to the R to the E to the E. Free 99. Free. No charge. Jesus paid it all. Listen, it is free. No registration fee. You heard me. Free. All you have to do is get here. And of course, you have to get here and pay for your lodging. But there is no additional cost. You can come for 2 weeks. You could come do the Institute and then slide right on into the One Love Festival. I'll make that announcement next week. But here, this is free. And in case you are wondering, so myself, yep, there's me, there's my work picture. Myself and Dr. Itihari Torre have designed, we are the designers of the Institute and the Institute of Restoring and Restoring Theology, Sacred Memory, Health, and Wellness for African Americans. So restoring and restoring theologies, health, and wellness and sacred memory for African Americans is an opportunity for us to engage in some decolonizing our imagination through transformative storytelling and proclamation. So Mama Itihari and I have designed this framework using a justice design thinking model, and our facilitators for this gathering are none other than Dr. Irie Session, whom we all know and love, Dr. Irie Session of The Gathering and of Dream Big with Dr. Irie, and Dr. Reginald Williams from University Park, First Baptist Church in University Park. Really, really amazing, brilliant mind, brilliant, creative homiletician, faculty at several places teaching homiletics. He is, everybody needs a preaching mentor, partner, and he's mine. He's one of mine anyway. So we, myself, Reggie, Irie, Mama Itihari, will be leading through this institute. And so we invite you to come learn with us. Ashe, come learn with us. Is that all right? I hope it is. So for those of you who were looking forward to register, you can register. The registration is open now. And remember, it is free. Would you do me another favor? Would you go ahead and click like right now on Facebook and on YouTube, and share on Facebook? Share this live right now. Thank you so very much. So last week I got some news right as we were going live, and it rocked me. It rocked me to the core, like I couldn't move beyond it. And I'm really glad that I honored myself and honored us by not attempting to move forward. Not, oh, y'all like my hair? I like it too. It's a little, for those of you wondering, it's a little natural, you know. It's actually a crochet. So shout out to the Beauty Box 78 on IG. Shout out to her. She is moves around in Atlanta, Charlotte, and New York. So go follow her and check her out. Tell her I sent you if you like it and you're interested and you want to do something a little different for the natural girls. Amen. So last week I was rocked. I mean, rocked. And so I want to thank you all who have been praying with us, who have been rocking with us, and just lifting up, not even fully knowing what's going on for our bestie. I have a message from Bestie to the community. And that's what we're going to go by, because one, Bestie is a minor, so we're protecting Bestie's identity, and two, because we're protecting Bestie's identity because amen, it is the ethical and right thing to do. Thank you, Natasha, for going to get the link here for those who want to register today, like right now, for the Institute, Summer Institute at Wake Forest. That is free, and you can just, if you got 2 weeks of vacation, you can stay for that week and slide right on in the next week to attend the One Love Festival. Ashe. Anyway, Bestie sent me a message for y'all, and I'm gonna pull it up. So I was telling Bestie, friend the world is praying for you. Like, people are inboxing me, they're texting me, how is Bestie? I told Bestie's mom. You know, people are praying. We are like standing 10 toes down. I mean, we doing it. Like, when I saw Bestie yesterday, I was telling Bestie, you know, I just want you if I know it's hard to relax, but I just believe in you and you got this. And Bestie did like this. She put her muscle up. Let me see if you can see my muscle. I can't do it, but you know, she put her muscle up and she pointed like saying, I'm strong. And I said, yes. And she pointed to another area to show me the area that had been challenged. And she wanted us to see it. And I said, oh, okay. And I said, you got this, baby. You getting through this. And she did like this, basically saying it's a mind thing. This is mind over matter. Like, my mind is strong. And then she took her whiteboard and she wrote this. Somebody is shouting right now. Somebody's shouting right now. Can you see it? Can you see what it says? Bestie said, give me my whiteboard. I cannot. I'm about to run around my house right now. Woo, baby, the way that I clowned confidence in that hospital room when that baby wrote down, I am a different breed. Honey, let me tell you, my God, she ministered to me. Yes, she did. I am a different breed. My God Almighty. That baby wrote that on her whiteboard. And I just want to share that with you this morning. You a different breed. We a different breed. You a different breed. We are a different breed. Woo! Melissa! When that baby wrote that, in the midst of all she's experiencing and the road ahead, she knows that she's strong. She knows that she has to keep her mental balanced. When I came in there yesterday, her dad was playing for her LL Cool J's I'm Bad. Baby, she said, I just got to sit it there. I got to leave it there because somebody needs to see this. Somebody needs to see it. Somebody needs to see this morning. Not for you to put on your cape, your super person cape, and not for you to believe that you're the strong, the strong black person or the strong queer person or the strong disabled person or the strong, wherever your intersection is. Not for you to take that on. Not positing or promoting that. Moreover, to acknowledge that you are a different breed. And I started to think about what makes what makes us, what's in the root. And it has to do with this futuring of faith. It also has to do, so I want to move around. I do have a text. I'm back in Hebrews, and we're going to continue on. But I want to move around a little bit. I'm just going to leave that image up there for a second, y'all, if you don't mind. I just need to leave that up there. Yes, Dr. Russell, preach to us in this chat. My baby said, I am a different breed. All of what she's experiencing. She's saying thank you to everyone who continues to pray for Bestie. Please do not stop. There is much progress, that we are on the right path. We are progressing, and yet there is much more to go, much more strength gaining to go. And so please and pray for Bestie's family and parents and for everything, for resources, for ways to be made. Just continue to say Bestie. And the Spirit knows exactly who Bestie is. Ashe, Ashe. with that, I have two texts. The first text is in Hebrews chapter 11. And I know, especially since we have some Bible scholars on here, that the Message translation is not the preferred for reasons around accuracy. But I like the Message translation and I'm leaving this image up for a minute because some of us just need to, it's blessing me to keep seeing it. And I like the Message translation for some passages. So I want to say, I just want to put that disclaimer. And this is one of those days. 11, 13, I think through 16. Well, 11, 2, and then 13 through 16. And y'all know I'm going to just move around it all. So 11:2 says that the act of faith is what distinguished our ancestors and set them above the crowd. 13 in the Message translation reads, and each one of these people of faith died not yet having in hand what was promised, but still believing. How did they do it? They saw it way off in the distance, and they waved their greeting and accepted the fact that they were transients in this world. People who live this way make it plain that they are looking for their true home. If they were homesick for the old country, they could have gone back at any time they wanted, but they were after a far better country than that, a heaven country. You can see why God is so proud of them and has a city waiting for them. Let me go back up and read. And each one of these people of faith died, not yet having in hand what was promised, but still believing. How did they do it? They saw it way off in the distance, waved their greeting. They saw it way off in the distance. This baby said, I am of a different breed. You have to be a different breed to see it in the distance. That's text number 1. The second text is from Asa G. Hilliard's The Maroon Within Us. If you are a person and absolutely an educator, and for those of you who often ask me, oh, what books do you read? Who are you in conversation with to form this lens? This is one of them. My elder, Mama Itihari Torre, is a intellectual descendant of Asa G. Hilliard, Baba Asa G. Hilliard, or Nana Before, as he is also known, of him, and introduced me to him and to his work. And this is another text that I want to offer. This particular chapter in The Maroon Within Us, is socializing our children for the resurrection of African people. Socializing our children for the resurrection of African people. And I want to keep Bestie all in this context, okay? Amilcar Cabral has pointed out in Return to the Source that foreigners can easily dominate a people by material means. Real domination, however, can occur. Excuse me, let me start all over. I got distracted. One second. Let's start again. Amilcar Cabral has pointed out in Return to the Source that foreigners can easily dominate a people by material means. Real domination, however, can occur only by the, quote, permanent organized repression of the cultural life of the people concerned, end quote. In other words, a foreign idea or domination in the real sense can only be guaranteed if there is, quote, physical liquidation of a significant part of the dominated population, end quote. Cabral goes on to say that when a dominator takes up arms to destroy a people, it must also destroy, neutralize, paralyze its cultural life. Let me go back. Cabral goes on to say that when a dominator takes up arms to destroy a people, it must also destroy, neutralize, paralyze its cultural life. Quote, for with a strong indigenous cultural life, foreign domination cannot be sure of its perpetuation, end quote. Lord of mercy. So I want to have this conversation about continuing to future the faith, continuing to future this faith. Thank you to all the DigiDeacons who are assisting today, to Carmen, Natasha, and Carlene. Thank you so much for putting all the links in place. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I want to explore this. I want to use, we have besties, I'm a different breed. And I want to put this in conversation with an Afrofuturist Christian perspective. And I want to also tie this in to this notion that Nana Bafour provides for us, that says that for with a strong, via Amilcar Cabral, that says for with a strong indigenous cultural life, foreign domination cannot be sure of its perpetuation, meaning if we hold on to our roots, if you will, that domination would not be so easy, is how I understand this. So as we come together this morning to explore this radical faith, or this what I'm identifying, shout out to the Reverend Dr. Portia Williams Gates for this term on Afrofuturist Christians, this faith rooted in imagination and liberation in a world where Black people and other oppressed communities, other people who live on the margins, who requires, asking the question, who requires an imaginative, a radical, a liberated faith. We don't have to think far or wide to consider who might need this level of support. We can look just at here in this country at several institutions who are lauded for their notable education, their Ivy League education, for which students are protesting, students, Jewish students alongside non-Jewish students who are calling for peace in Gaza. It is correct, Dr. Will Gaffney, you are correct that we cannot only rely on the mainstream media to get our information that would have us believe that students were inciting riots without having us to understand implants and folks who are sent to these gatherings to incite riots, and would have us to believe that there are that Jewish people are not present and are also not calling for freedom for those who are suffering in Gaza. We cannot rely solely on. So who needs this kind of futuring of faith? Also, siblings in the Congo, siblings in Sudan, siblings in Haiti. There are folks of color and of particular class status across the globe who sit at these margins, who live at these margins, for whom I imagine are often asking that question, where is this creator in the midst of this hell that we are experiencing? And even though they ask the question, there is still something, I imagine, there is still this kind of faith that they can't even explain, we cannot even explain our loyalty to it, other than this is the most powerful thing that we have. That when faced with these things that come in our lives, when faced with the unthinkable and the unbearable, what is it that makes a young adolescent in the fight for her life declare that even though I am in the fight of my life, I know that I am moving forward, yes, because of your prayers, but there is something in me that unlocks, there is something in my ancestral lineage that unlocks and tells me an embodied way of knowing that I am of a different breed. So I want to use this Afrofuturist lens, this Afrofuturist, Afro-centered, womanist, Christian lens today. And when I say womanist Christian, Christian not in the sense that is totalizing, that is evangelical, that is proselytizing, and or that believes that God only comes to those who believe in this way. Yeah. While my credentials are rooted in following the example of a liberated Jewish person of color who spoke against empire, who spoke against the system, who even spoke against those in hierarchy in his own faith tradition, while my credentials are rooted in that space. And I acknowledge, I need to tell you all, I need to let you know that I really am spiritually fluid. Yeah. That I am on the spectrum of spirituality, similar to the spectrum of sexuality, that I am fluid, meaning that while these are my credentials, this is an important part of my faith and my conscientization. I am well aware that it is not the only. I wish I had some witnesses on here today. I am well aware that it is not the only. And while it roots me, and while it grounds me, and while it sustains and supports me to know that I come into the awareness of this spiritual identity, I am my intellect and my spirit will, and the questions of my adolescence will not allow me to only believe that the creator of the universe only reveals itself to a group of people in a particular geographical location and suggests that this is the only way that people will ever be able to come into the knowledge of this great creator of the universe. Come on, people, put your thinking caps on, as we used to say in elementary school. Put your thinking caps on. And so while I am not here to demonize, but I'm also not here to be demonized. And so I want to say, I just needed to help somebody understand who was on here. I don't want you to feel ostracized. I don't want you to click off and say, up, here they go. I'm not talking about that. Come on. Can we shout out to my clergy friends on here? Can we shout out to all of my Christian clergy friends on here who are saying I'm a witness? I think that is a moment of pause. We got to pause right here for this revolution that is happening right here. All the believers in the place who are saying, yup, me too, me too. Come on, this is a different kind of me too movement, Brother Earl. A different kind of me too. Folks in here saying, yup, spiritually fluid. I'm on the spectrum, spiritually queer. Yeah, listen. This is important, and hopefully it will free some of us. It will free some of us. Can I say it again? It will free some of us. So in a world where people who live on the margins and oppressed communities face ongoing physical, emotional, and cultural attacks, Afrofuturism emerges for me, come on, as a beacon of hope. What is Afrofuturism, Melva? Come on, Pastor Anika. You know, Pastor Anika, because you know. when the cistern, let me pause. When the cistern, honey, yes, ma'am. What it say? Black quantum futurism. Yes, ma'am. What it say? Black quantum futurism. Yes, ma'am. What it say? Black quantum futurism, the theory and practice. Black quantum futurism, community futurisms. Black quantum futurism from the Congo to the Carolinas. Yeah, we in the spirit. We in the spirit. God gonna always make sure, the spirit gonna always make sure we in the spirit with others. The affirmation that we're on the right path, that we are saying the right thing. I say that Afrofuturism, there is a wonderful exhibit going on right now at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Go see the exhibit. And they define Afrofuturism as it expresses notions of Black identity and agency and freedom through art, through creative works and activism that envision liberated futures for Black life. So now that we know what this is, Afrofuturism then emerges as a beacon of hope. It is a declaration that our past, that our present, and future are not bound by the chains of oppression. What Bestie, in saying I am a different breed, says to me, even though she may not have the language of futurism or as a futurist, she may, running back, she does have the language, even though she may not know how we're using that language. She has the language to say to us that I am more than this physical setback. Jesus. I am more. My being is more. My spirit is more than what this temporary health challenge, than what these health chains have on me. So let us go to Hebrews 12. Hebrews 11, 2, 13, and 16. As we uncover the transformative power of a decolonized and radical faith-filled imagination. Y'all with me? So, if I was making some points, I would make three of them. And here's the first one. I want to talk about then this Afrofuturism as a prophetic vision of liberation. In Hebrews 11:2, we are reminded that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Whoo, my. Afrofuturism embodies this prophetic vision of liberation. A belief in a future where Black people and other marginalized communities are free from the shackles of oppression, just as the Israelites journeyed through the wilderness in search of the promised land, just as Harriet freed the people and kept coming back, just as our freedom fighters, be they freedom fighters from the civil rights movement, be they freedom fighters from the Black liberation movement, be they freedom fighters from Black Lives Matters movement, our freedom fighters envision, be they freedom fighters like Mary Hooks and others who are protesting, rightfully so, to stop Cop City in Atlanta, that they are envisioning a future where justice, equality, and liberation reign supreme. Yeah. Drawing inspiration again from the resilience of enslaved Africans who maintained their faith and cultural traditions, hear me, despite the brutality of slavery. Yeah, boy. Listen, drawing inspiration from the resilience of the enslaved Africans who maintained their faith. Now let's pause right here on their faith. Let's pause on faith. Sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois, who provides for us as early as 1906 the first sociological study of what was then known as the Negro Church. In his book, The Souls of Black Folk, Du Bois talks about the three characteristics of the Negro Church. They are the frenzy, the music, and the preacher. But another thing Du Bois says is that, this is my paraphrase, is that enslaved black folk were not Christian. He said that we would be mistaken to believe that what enslaved black folk were doing was practicing Christianity. My God. He said that is not what was happening. He said that is not what was going on. But that what drew them, what if there was any attraction or what they could find semblance around was the music, the frenzy, meaning the representation, the embodiment of the spirit, and the preacher. The preacher would have been recognizable because in many countries in West Africa and other parts of the continent, the griot in Mali or the Jali, this being for whom it was their responsibility to tell the story, that when a community had become dysfunctional, that the griot used, hold on, wait a minute, pause, right, come on, spirit. Put your pen right there. What is Afrofuturism? Black identity and agency and freedom through what? Art, creative works, and activism. What does the griot do? Well, I'm glad you asked. The griot uses literature and poetry and song to remind the community of its history, to bridge the gap, to fill the breach, so that many enslaved Africans who would have been forced to come through this middle passage, who would have come from places on the continent, who would have identified either a griot or by another kind of name, would understand and would raise up their own speaker, if you will, because what come on the maroon within us, because their indigenous cultural life had not been neutralized or paralyzed or destroyed. Some thinkers would have us believe that black folks' cultural identity did not survive the Middle Passage. Not true. Not the case. What Du Bois is telling us is that what black folks were doing in the hush harbors was not practicing Christianity. They were worshiping and dancing and praising and engaging and repeating and reciting the mantras, the practices, the beliefs of the gods that still lived in their bodies, that they brought with them across the shores. That African people were not and have never been blank slates. Yes, Reverend Nicole Duncan Smith Soror, that it is also Nomo, the creative word, the ability to speak something into existence, the ashe of it, that when we say it, it happens, that we bring that with us. All of this rooted in this prophetic vision, so that we draw inspiration, knowingly and sometimes unknowingly, that this Afrofuturist Christian lens channels the spirit of resistance and hope that has sustained black communities throughout history. My God, today. Oh, I wish I could see y'all. I wish I could see y'all. Man, I wish that I could just throughout history. Are we together? We're together. Okay, listen. Point 2. That Afrofuturist Christians are architects of decolonized faith. Okay? That Afrofuturist Christians are architects of decolonized faith. In Hebrews 13 through 16, we are reminded that those who embrace faith as strangers and pilgrims on the earth seek a homeland, a city whose builder and maker is God. Afrofuturist Christians as strangers in a world that often seeks to diminish our humanity are called to envision a new city. Yes! A city where the marginalized are uplifted, where the oppressed are liberated, and where all are welcome as beloved children of God. Let me run this back. That Afrofuturist Christians as strangers in a world that often seeks to diminish our humanity are called to erect tent cities on campuses, are called to occupy spaces, to call for the liberation and for the freedom of all of God's creation, of all oppressed people. That Afrofuturist Christians, that those who believe are called to erect, to occupy spaces where freedom does not abound, are called to see people into the future. We are called, that is our mantra, that is what we are supposed to be doing, to acknowledge that there are those in the world who seek to diminish our humanity, that we are called to envision a new city where the marginalized are uplifted. The marginalized, whether it be in East New York, whether it be in East Gaza, whether it be in the Congo, the Sudan, in Haiti, whether it be around Black maternal health, whether it be around the rights and specificities of our queer siblings, wherever one is in the intersection, at the intersection, those who are Afrofuturists, those who see are called to uplift, where the oppressed are liberated and where all are welcome as beloved children of God. Now, friends, we can continue to conference. We can keep going to conference after conference, honey. We can keep paying upwards to $300 for registrations to figure out how we going to grow our churches, how we're going to have better churches, how we going to be better pastors, how we're going to get larger funds to buy bigger buildings, how we are going to keep millennials, baby, who are now 40 something in the church. We can keep having these conferences, or we can become Afrofuturist Christians. We can become folk who are out there with the people. Come outside of the walls of your church. Come outside of these kinds of conferences and take this $300 and $400 registration fees and go put them in the places of those who need it, those who need bail funds because they've been arrested for occupying spaces on behalf of the marginalized. What manner of person? What does it mean? What is that saying? What's that scripture? To gain something but to lose your soul. What is the point for us to continue gathering, to charge money, to continue to gather, to learn how to preach better? What sense does it make? What matter for us to figure out how to understand technically how to open and how to close and how to have people up on their feet preaching from the rafters, having people walk out and say, my God, today they preached. What does it really matter in the thick of things and what we are experiencing in the world today? How is that useful? Somebody tell me in the chat, where is the utility? That's right, Faith. We need to be outside. We've grown too comfortable, baby. Who can pay $300 and $400? And I'm including myself, not in the who can pay. I'm including myself in the privilege of it all. That some of our conferences only speak to a certain type of clergy, only speak to a certain type of minister, only speak to a certain kind of preacher. But as an Afrofuturist Christian, As an Afrofuturist Christian, I am called to uplift, to create a new city, just as the civil rights movement and other liberation struggles have challenged the oppressive systems of the past. We are called to challenge the status quo by imagining new possibilities for the future. Now, I know y'all get ready to send me all over the internet. Melva Sampson was talking about, well, can we just let people live? Can we let people go? I'm not coming for you, friends. I keep telling y'all, I do not sub. If I'm coming for you, I'm going to say your name. Amen. I don't do that. I don't talk about nobody, but I just got finished telling you that there was a conference that I'm interested in because I've never been. But just as I'm in the spirit, I'm hearing the spirit say to me, not you, me. And it's no issue that you've gone. This is a challenge. Is that not what the gospel is? Have we grown so comfortable with these feel-good messages that we get so offended when somebody is actually doing gospel preaching? Come on in here today. I'm not coming for you, friend. I'm not coming for you, bruh. I'm not coming for you, sis. I'm not coming for the conference at all. I am simply saying, what utility does it have in the midst of a world that is crumbling in front of us to continue to talk about how we will uphold something that is dying? And yet, if we want to talk about the socializing of our children for the resurrection of our African people, then it is important to know that there will be predictable consequences. That's what Baba Asa said, that there will be predictable consequences. He says, I call the list of problems symptoms because they are predictable consequences of sustained, systemic, formal and informal, direct and indirect, overt and covert oppression and its legacy. This is not to deny, he says, the seriousness of the symptoms and the debilitating effect they have had upon the African American community. However, these symptoms have been with us for hundreds of years now. Psychologists, social workers, anthropologists, and educators have made professional reputations for themselves and have grown wealthy serving our needs by addressing these symptoms. Yet the symptoms persist. In fact, the true nature, they must persist as long as we fail to come to terms with the true nature of the problem. Baba Asa says that the symptoms will persist as long as we fail to come to grips with the nature of the true problem. We got to dream of a new city whose builder and maker is God. That as strangers in a world that often seeks to diminish this humanity, what we are called to envision. But there is a third and a final point, and I'm headed on over to the clearing. There is a third and a final point, and I am headed on over to the clearing. And for those of you who say, listen, I am not going to miss this clearing, not another time. I want to come over with y'all. I'm going to go ahead and, get into this clearing. I have put it right here for you. There you go. Let me find it for my people on the YouTube. Let me see where my YouTube page is here right quick as I come to this close so that I can get it for my people right here who are watching on YouTube. Ashe, yeah. Go ahead and click that link and then let me know that you have joined, and I will send you our private Zoom. I may, just depending on the spirit, just gift. I may gift today because I just feel like we need some community and we need to talk about this. The final point here then is, I know I done woke my whole house up. Listen, I got to come out of my pink robe, y'all. I'm hot because the spirit is up in here. The final point. Because the first two were what? That one, Afrofuturism is a prophetic vision of liberation. Two was Afrofuturist Christians are architects of a decolonized faith. Yeah. And the third is Afrofuturism as a performance of Afrofuturism as a performance of radical faith-filled imagination. Woo! Y'all, I am hot. Woo! In declaring, hold on, child. I'm so hot, I got to put my little weave up. Wait a minute. Woo, Jesus. My God, I feel it. Hee. Woo, wait a minute, y'all. In declaring that black people are in the future, in declaring that black people are in the future, we, Afrofuturist Christians, engage in a radical act of imagination, a performance of faith that transcends the limitations imposed by empire. Despite the heinous experiences endured by black folk and other oppressed communities, we then have to dare. Where are my Gen X people? Where are my Gen X folks? Do you remember, and where are my Gen X folk who played in them streets? Who played red light, yellow light, green light, stop. Who played not hide and go seek, but hide and go get it. Come on, I'm talking to the people who was outside. Where are my people? Where are my people who did street cheers? Hollywood go swinging, Hollywood go swinging, swinging to the east. Where my people? Jump in the car, put your foot on the gas, step back, and let Miss Lucy pass. I said, I look at my booty, I ain't it beauty, I don't you want some? But you can't have none. Where are my people? So here's the people right here. These people then would remember that when you were challenged, what would you do in the challenge, Brother Francis? I would dare you, double dog dare you, a dare. I'm going to double dog dare you to knock this stick off of my shoulder. Yeah. I am going to double dog dare you. Listen, when we really wanted to press you, when we really wanted to challenge you, Melissa, you know, we had to put a double dog dare. We just ain't going to dare you. I'm going to double dog dare you to step over this line. I'm going to double dog dare you to get in my face. I'm going to because see, a double dog dare was stronger than a dare. A double dog dare was like, if you didn't fulfill the double dog dare, D, you really wasn't about it. But this is what these two texts are inviting us to, the double dog dare. That if you are spiritually fluid, that if you are an Afrofuturist believer, if you are one who believes outside the box, if you are one who believes beyond the boundaries, then you are called, you are being double dog dared. My goodness, to perform this faith that transcends the limitations that are imposed by empire. Can I pause for one more second? Not only imposed by empire, but let's bring it back to Bestie. But even imposed by what the medical diagnosis says. Hey, my God, Jesus. See, the medical diagnosis, the doctors were not expecting Bestie to live. Bestie put up online yesterday a card. And in this card, all of the people who have been caring for her medically have signed this card. And some of them even said that, Bestie, we didn't even believe that you would make it through the night. If I could turn around in this chair, I would. They told her mama, we didn't believe there was about a 10% chance when she came in here that she would be with us on the next day. But something in Bestie's spirit, something in her lineage. What does 11:2 say? It is because of their faith that I our ancestors were rewarded. There is something in our lineage, even when we can't explain it, that won't allow us to accept our circumstances. And here it is. She declares that I am of a different breed. And that's all I want to let you know today, that you are of a different breed, that we are of a different breed. And because we are called to decolonize our imagination. And because we are called to see things that are not all the way ready and there yet. And because we are called to engage in this black quantum futurism where we are commingling time and space. We are called because we are a part of a lineage of people of faith who died. And when they died, they did not have in their hand what was promised. Yes, Bestie knows that it's already done, but still believing. And how did they do it? They did it because Bestie sees it in the distance. We see it in the distance. Baba Asa sees it in the distance. And that's what we're called to do. It is a reminder that while this system in this part of time believes that it dictates our future, that dreaming, come on, my good friend, Reverend Stephen Lewis, that dreaming is a ritual practice. Hey, Jesus, that dreaming is a ritual practice and imagination is a sacred technology. That those who died in faith, not having received the promise, I believe, actually, I would challenge the writer here. They did receive the promise. Yeah. See, even King says, I may not get there with you, but he did receive the promise. See, the promise of this reception is not always on the plane of consciousness that we're in. It is not always material. It is not always tangible. Can I help us today? Can I help us today? Yeah. What Bestie is saying, per Dr. Melissa Harris Perry, we're going to ordain MHP today, y'all. MHP is an undercover preacher. We license and ordain you today, MHP, because you preaching in these comments. Listen, what Bestie knows, as already been said, is that it is already done. On this plane or the next, Bestie says, I'm a different breed, a living text. I am. And just as this performance of faith that transcends the limitations, the physical limitations imposed upon me by empire, that despite these heinous experiences, that we are called, we are double dog dared to imagine, but imagine calls for work. This is why those who are protesting, be it in Atlanta at Cop City, be it on the campus of my alma mater, Emory University, be it on the campus of Yale, Harvard, Columbia, and every other institution where people are using their God-given right, their freedom of speech, to call to order, where folks are so scared to speak up because of other folks will bully and withdraw funding. And so, because it will keep up a higher class in the foot of the next, on the foot of the next of the most vulnerable of our societies, we are called to speak this kind of truth to power. So just as the Exodus narrative, yes, from the indigenous folk, the Lakota water protectors, and 75 other campuses. Come on, thank you, Francis Johnson and Melissa Harris Perry. Y'all better get into this timeline for all of us, our thinking, the thinkers and the practitioners and the activists, the legal experts who are on this timeline. Don't let me start calling names, but this timeline is so rich right here. This timeline, this one timeline, but with both of these timelines on Facebook and on YouTube, do you know in this timeline is everything we need? Is everything we need? is everything we need to unlock the maroon within us, to overcome, to refute any kind of a domination. It is everything we need. If there is any danger, any intellectual danger, if there is anything to be feared, it is in our bodies, in the bodies and minds of the people that are on this timeline, because these are the free people. Are the free people. In closing, just as the Exodus narrative served as a powerful symbol of liberation for the Israelites, Afrofuturism serves as a symbol of hope and possibility for Black people and other marginalized communities. A reminder that our past does not dictate our future, and that through faith and imagination, we can create a world where we are all free. So, as we reflect on Hebrews 11:2, 13 through 16, let us embrace the radical faith of Afrofuturist Christians, a faith rooted in imagination, resilience, and liberation. May we join together in envisioning a future where justice reigns, where oppression is dismantled, and where all are welcome as beloved children of God. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo, Ashe, 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 Asheo. If you, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. We are headed over to the clearing. And I invite those of you who want to be present with us. I've put the link right here in the chat to be with our subscription community today. It's a very nominal monthly fee. It's something that's just $30. $30 a month. You spend that on many things, and it's a seed offering. Ashe, I want to be very clear. It's a seed offering for me to continue to do this work. Ashe, and it is also reciprocity. It is giving back what has been given. The same way you give your offering when you go to the church house. Amen. Yeah. So I invite you, for those who are interested, please, and when you join, just hit me the DM or let me know that you've joined, and so I can get you the link. All right, friends. I'm headed to the clearing. I'll see y'all next week. And next week, we'll be on location.